Hello, people. What's up? My name is Art, and welcome back to another movie review day. Whew. It's getting close to the end of August. It's very close, and then the summer movie review is done. I'm debating whether, depending upon how many views I have on this, will determine whether or not I will keep on doing movie reviews in general. Um, what I do is I try to let it do marinate for like a month or two to see how the views are. If the reviews are not that much, okay, fine. Then I'll stop. Then I may do, and I won't do it as often. Not as often. If they get a lot of reviews, and most of the movie reviews are about 8 to 10 people, which is fine, considering the fact that I just did it. So I wait. So a lot of times I try to wait a certain amount of time, usually like a month or two. Okay, this movie is based off of a comic book, and so far to this day, it's one of the very few movies that was based off of a comic book that stayed truthful to the source material. Of course, there's some changes, but it stays pretty much true to the source material. A little background on the story of this movie. It was created by a man named Frank Miller. Who's Frank Miller? Frank Miller is a very famous comic book artist and writer from the 80s. He worked at Marvel and DC. His best run that people always talk about is his Daredevil run with Elektra, his creation of his helping create Elektra, the Hand, all that mess. The stuff that the funny thing is the Daredevil Netflix TV show, majority of that was based off of his work. One thing you might notice is he also revamped Batman. And a lot of the Batman movies and Batman related stuff that you see today is based off of his work. Also, he had involvement in the first and second RoboCop movies. So he knows some film stuff. Also, he also did he also created this thing called 300. Remember that movie? He created that. But in the 90s, after working for Marvel DC, he started doing his own creator stuff, and this is his first creation, Sin City. This right here is the Dusty, the recut, extended, and unrated version, because I like those kind of versions like that because it adds all the stuff that was cut out. It's kept in. It's 2 discs right there. Even comes with a miniaturized Sin City graphic novel. So it's pretty interesting. Sin City doesn't revolve around one person. It doesn't. It revolves around a sort of cast of people, and each of them have their own little story within Sin City. And the movie is shot in such a way that every story has a concise, somewhat beginning, middle, and end. So imagine this one movie right here is technically 4 main stories. Technically. And you're getting 4 stories worth of material. And the way it's shot is similar to the comic. So by you watching this movie, it's like you reading the actual comic itself, even to the point where it apes or mimics the actual comic book panels. And that was one of Frank Miller's biggest things. Also, it was directed by Robert Rodriguez, and especially in one couple scenes directed by Quentin Tarantino. So it's lots of campy fun. It has that noir feel, a lot of campy fun, campy. What I mean by camp, like Batman, the Adam West show, that kind of fun, that kind of camp. Yeah, a lot of campy fun and excitement, and lots of gore. All the blood is like whited out, so it doesn't look like blood, just like white out. But this movie right here, I didn't see it in the theaters because I didn't think it was going to do very well in theaters. The funny thing is, this movie it was made with $40 million because a lot of it's green screen. A lot of the movie was green screen. Since a lot of the movie was green screen, it kept the cost super low. It grossed over $100 million, like $150 million or something like that worldwide. So basically, it's what they consider a modest hit. It's considered a modest hit, I guess. But if you ever read Sin City, you will love this movie. If you ever read Sin City, you'll love this movie. If you've seen this movie before, it's just like reading a comic book, but the comic book is a hell of a lot better. And you get attached to these characters very well. I mean, Bruce Willis is in it. Jessica Alba, of course. Mickey Rourke. Powers Booth. These are big name people, man, I tell you. Big names in this movie. I'm trying to figure, Clive Owen was in this movie. Rosario Dawson also. And so many other people that I cannot even remember their names. To try to tell you what the movie is about, it would basically do this movie it won't do it a good service. It'll be like an hour long because I had to go through every story. Every story has a complete, for one, the cop who saves the little girl from getting raped and murdered because the guy he shot, he basically shot the kid. He made him live, but he shot his ear off and shot his balls off. Funny thing is, he was son of a senator. So the senator basically made his life a living hell. He went to jail until he confessed. Kind of bad, and nothing really good happens to any of the characters in this movie. It's like, your life is shitty, and you live in a shitty city. But it's a really good one. I love that one. To Clive Owen's character, where he chases this one guy tries to meet one of his ex-girls, and she told her she left him for this guy named Dwight. Goes in there drunk with his boys, and Dwight basically threatens him, and he's going to go out to make some trouble. The kid is going to make some trouble, so Dwight tries to follow him. Problem was that he's a cop, and he dies. And according to where he died, there's this place called Old Town, where it's basically Hooker and Whoreville. They make their rule. They make their own rules. They govern themselves. So if a cop dies there, they will lose all influence, and they will be ripe for the taking, so to speak. So he technically goes out of his way to try to rescue the town, because his old girlfriend was like the head of the town. But anyway, that's just a little bit of the stories. But that's pretty cool. And that is, that's a little bit of Sin City. Like I said, there's more stories. Marv, his story was about he sleeps with one girl and she dies, and he gets framed for the murder, so he goes out on a killing spree to figure out who killed this girl who was so nice to him. His face is so messed up that he looks like Frankenstein. Find out that she was a hooker, and she got into some kind of bad with the big dudes, the big the big family there that's so powerful that they wanted to kill him, so he went out and killing people for revenge. Even oh yeah, Elijah Wood was in this movie too. Spaghetti. But that's not the only movie I saw. Sin City, A Dame to Kill For is the second and last installment. This is the one I did see this in the theaters. You know, same cast of characters, except for Clive Owen didn't make it in this one, so it's Josh Brolin playing Dwight. Oh yeah, Michael Clunkin Dark or Clark Duncan was in the first one, but he died. So Dennis Haysbert, whatever, he shows up in this one. You know, Gordon Levitt, that guy, he shows up in this movie as well. And this is the sequel and the last of. This one didn't sell as well. This one didn't do as well as the first one. But you know, sequels sometimes don't. But to me, there's like another 3 stories tied to this one, and those this one's like an hour and a half. And the stories here was really cool, from the congressman guy who's in the first one, who's the most powerful, who runs the whole state. His illegitimate son plays poker with him and beats him. Not once, but twice, and he dies as a result of it, because you know because the senator's like that. Jessica Alba gets revenge because the cop that saved her from the kid, the guy who's he saved her from, his father finds out about who she was and wants to put a hit on her, so she hires Marv to go out and kill some people. And of course, Dwight's the Dame to Kill For, when his old flame decides to hook him, basically manipulates him to killing her husband so she can inherit his money, and then she tries to have him killed, which is kind of funny, but you know, it's cool. Shot the same way, didn't make that much money, but that's not the reason why we're here. We're not here about big movies that makes money. We're here about movies that's actually, I think, is kind of cool. And these 2 movies, in my opinion, are very cool movies to see. If you've never seen it before, give it a try if you can. If you want to read the comic books instead, or the graphic novels, you can get the graphic novels instead and read it first. Read those. The movies read just like the comics. And with that being said, I want to say thank you very much, and that's it for this movie review day. So if you've seen these movies before, let me know down below. Let me know what you thought of these movies. Have you read the books that spawned these movies? That inspired these movies? Let me know down below. If you like this, give me a like. Give me a dislike. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Send it to your friends. Send it to your foes and your enemies too. But anyway, with that being said, I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for spending 15 minutes of your day watching me talk about some movies that I like. Whether you like them or not, I don't know. But anyway, with that being said, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.